going to I'm gonna go through these matches that that Jason had gotten. I'm gonna do maybe one with Dan and then one with Kevin, just for the sake. It's probably gonna be long just because blah blah blah. Like, I'm gonna be going frame by frame. Sometimes I'm gonna miss stuff if I'm gonna be looking at the inputs, because the inputs do not display while I'm pausing. Alright, so I'm gonna try and be critical, but also this is not to bash anybody, this is just for learning purposes. Hopefully the mic audio is there, or else this is all pointless. So let's start with a match with Kevin. I'm gonna pick a random match. I've seen some of them already, but let's say this one. I'll favorite it so that I know that I watched this one. Okay, so let's get into it. So Jason with Ruby Teddy, Kevin with Susano and Jubei. Susano has really good buttons, and before I even get into the match to start, first, I already see that there's something fucked up. I need to fucking get rid of this virtual stick. Alright, so before anything, character-wise, Susano has really long-range buttons. And Jubei kinda does as well. So, and Susano hits very far, and he hits really hard. So you have to watch that sweeping range kind of distance that you are from him. Ruby's got a good button, but it's not as good as Susano's. It's good in the sense that it hits all around him. But anyways, into the match, Jason jumps in and he hits a 5B. I believe that's a 5B. And as you can see from that little flash right there of the inputs, Jason is mashing. And he's trying to just get his combo. And I think I saw even like a reversal in there or something. The inputs just need to be a little bit less panicky. But he does hit a block string, and Kevin blocks it. And he tries to 2B. And even though it was on block, which Jason needs to learn to realize, like, this person is blocking, he tries to jump cancel and tries to aggress again, which if it was on block and Kevin had blocked it, Kevin could technically just hit Jason again, or hit Jason to punish him for that move, but he didn't. So Jason jumps in but doesn't do anything, which is really bad. But if he was blocking and Kevin hit him, he would have at least blocked it. The idea of what Jason should be doing right now, because Kevin's move hits long and hard but really takes a long time to start up, Jason should be using his quickest moves to hit him. But right now he's low. If anything, do a low move to hit him. He hits a 2B again, which I don't know why you would use that button from there, right? There's no purpose in using this button here. From up close, this move 2B is supposed to be an anti-air move, if anything, or using it within a combo. Using it in neutral like this, like without there being any kind of anti-air situation, is really bad, because Kevin can punish you off of this. I mean, granted, you can jump cancel and block, but this is serving no purpose for you. But he cancels into his side pod, which Kevin has to block. So at least that was good. That was good block pressure. But from here, you have to realize what is going to happen, what the game plan is going in. You do have an assist, so you can utilize Teddy's assist in some sort of manner to try and apply pressure onto Kevin. So Kevin is at this far range and thinks his button's going to hit, but he actually whiffs it. And at this opportunity, you see Kevin miss. He can't do another move. It's not Dragon Ball, so it's not gonna let him do his combo even though he missed it. So from here, you should be aiming to punish it, which you go for a jump-in move, which is gonna take too long. So now Kevin can block. This is really bad because you go for Buzzsaw Blast and then you go for an assist. So the Buzzsaw Blast itself really fucked up. Like, you shouldn't be using it raw like that, right? you can, even if they block it, you can cancel it into the gun blast and go backwards, but again, it serves no purpose, right? Alright, so from here, Kevin sweeps and was able to hit you, but doesn't capitalize. And like I said, right there, Kevin goes into his long range buttons. So you have to be on the defensive and make sure like the move doesn't hit you. But that was a good burst from you, because he actually called in Jubei and you hit both of them. So right there, and again I keep pausing it and it might take a while for this match because of so, but you went into JA and then immediately went into item cancel, which I don't know why you're doing. You have to think about what you're doing and why you're doing it, right? But again, that's just something that comes with the experience of the game. But you have to really think about what you're doing and why you're doing it. So you going in for a JA and Kevin's trying to go for a sweep for some reason. He's just hitting buttons as well. But both of you are gonna miss. But because his sweep takes longer to recover from, you're able to capitalize and punish off of this. So you get a combo, and you didn't finish the combo, you try to go into DP or your reversal, which I wouldn't recommend with Teddy specifically. His reversal is not good for comboing into. Alright, I paused again, but what do you call it? You're using your, your bear screw to get in, and that's not necessarily the right thing to do, because bear screw is very unsafe. If you want to make it safe to use it as an approach tool, you're going to have to use your Ruby assist, maybe like her forward assist, like her rifle shot, to make that a safe approach. Because I know you're trying to close in the gap, but using that by itself is going to end up letting you get punished. So you tried using standing B, or your 5B from up close, and that is a big no-no. It has a very long startup, and if the opponent blocks it, right, even like the whole string, you know, 5B into Kintoki Doji into the Kintoki Doji up, which is 5B, BB, the opponent would be able to punish it. So the idea is when you're up close, you want to use your safer moves in order to use offense to go on the aggression. So Kevin, in that sense, used his 5A, which beat out your 5B because it's faster. So this is why you're getting hit now. Yeah, Kevin just needs to work on his combos, which is why he's blocking. So that the first two rifle shots, that was fine. Kevin does have an ability with Jubei to sidestep or to dash in. His mechanical dash, that if you input forward is kind of like a step, and that step is invulnerable to projectiles, and Kevin knows that with his character, which is why he used it. But you're able to hit him with 2A, and you hit him back with a gun blast, or sorry, a rifle shot. Now you're trying to zone him out, and that's fine. Alright, Kevin DP'd you because you tried to approach from the air. Oh, you almost got the combo, but he burst. Again, you use the bear screw to try and approach and close the gap and put some block pressure on, but that didn't do anything except get you punished. So now he's gonna hit you for a combo, which I would have done full combo if I was Kevin, but I'm not here for Kevin. So Kevin calls his assist. His assist is not going to hit you at this point, but Kevin's going in for an air attack. Again, if you see the opponent trying to approach you from the air, you should be thinking of two things, right? You should be thinking of, oh, I can DP him because it's air unblockable, which is DP means reversal. So either hit the reversal because he's not going to be able to block it, and that's going to get you some decent damage. Or if you want to go into your combo, you would want to think about using your 2B or your down triangle move to anti-air him. It has an anti-air property. Your head and your upper body should be safe, right? His move would technically or theoretically go through you, and your 2B would come out and hit him. Anyways, you try to meet him in the air. You actually win the exchange, but there was no capitalization off of it. So now you guys are back into neutral. And you've been playing very defensively in this round. I would want to see you play a little bit more. And Teddy's not meant to be like a hyper aggressive character, so you playing defensively with Teddy is okay. But constantly jumping in the air with Teddy, I don't think is the best idea, unless you're full screen, jumping really high and like throwing items out from a very safe distance. Then I would not suggest going in the air. That's the only reason why I would jump back into the air, is to try and like throw items out at a safe distance where I can't be punished. Anyways, let's get back into it. So you try to go in on him and press your JA, but you have to realize where your character is. I know you're new and it's hard to get used to, but you have to know where you are and when you press the button. Because now you just press JA and it just whiffed, right? Because you weren't anywhere near him. So now he's punishing you off of it, which I think you may have been able to block, but you may have tried to press another button. I don't know. Again, I can't really see the inputs when I'm like pausing like this. So Kevin's hitting you and he gets you down. Okay. So resonance as soon as you come up. So you hit your 5B. I think he was trying to hit his 5B and yours is just faster. So unfortunately, it seems like the pedal was his pedal dance. Pedal dance does not hit off of that. And this is where I would recommend just learning your basic bread and butter with Ruby, where you go into the air. You know, what you've done in trial mode or mission mode. And you have to be able to use that. Because yes, going into super is a good way to damp for damage. But if you don't know how, like definitively, how to get into super, then it could really bite you in the ass like it is about to right now. Alternatively, the pedal dance super, instead of using that, maybe go into pedal burst, which is like the little super where she kind of goes like dashes. That might have hit. Who knows? I actually don't. But Kevin decides to super you, right? And he's able to hit you because you're still in recovery from you missing your super. So now you have like 1 health left. I would be playing defensively, and playing defensively doesn't only mean blocking, but it means looking for your opponent's gaps in their offense, also looking for mistakes that your opponent does, and capitalizing and punishing off of it. So Kevin's trying to go on the aggression because he knows that he only needs to hit you once. So if he's dashing towards you, air dashing, again, if the opponent is trying to approach you from the air, you either reversal, or you hit your, in this case, your 2B, your anti-air move with Ruby. And off of Ruby's anti-air move, she can get full combo, but that's something you have to train yourself into doing. But unfortunately, you jump up in the air, you see that he missed, you try to press a button, but Kevin had called his assist in. And that's what caused you to lose. You have to also see, like, take into account when the opponent uses an assist, right? And that comes down to awareness, right? Which is what we had discussed yesterday. But anyways, that was one match against Kevin. Let's go into a match against Dan, and then we'll call it for this analysis. I think I've seen all of them already, so let me just go into this one for no particular reason.
Get ready! Can't escape from crossing.
Alright, so you're still using Teddy Ruby. Alright. So here is a perfect example, like I said in the last match, when your opponent is trying to approach you from the air and you're trying to play defensively, you either want to reversal this air approach that Dan's doing, or your 2B, which is your anti-air move for both your characters in this case. It's not always the case with every character, but it just so happens that it's the same command with both your characters, okay? So you hit him with the anti-air. Now normally, you know, I would just try and go into something else, maybe like an item throw since he is get knocked back, or go into a combo, but getting a clean hit is fine. And I know you didn't know what to do off of that, So that's why you hit the 5B. The 5B is never gonna hit off of that. Maybe if you time it, like delay it, maybe it'll hit, but I wouldn't really bet on that. So you've successfully gotten Dan out of your space, right? Again, in the neutral with Teddy, you would either want to be at that perfect like range so that you hit your bat, which is your 5B, or you want to put item pressure on the screen and so jump back all the way up to the top right corner and throw out your items, because the purpose of Teddy is his items are really good, right? The missiles are okay, which I think the missile's your next item if you look at the bottom right corner of your screen. But what you really want, from what I know, Teddy's really good items is like the meteor rain, the little spinner thing. It's like this yellow spinning thing that kind of goes around Teddy to keep him safe, almost like a leaf shield. Or hit the oil drum. The oil drum is really, really good. Again, I'm not really a Teddy player, so I don't know exactly what the best ones are, but that, from my opinion, those are the really good ones. Anyways, and that's what I think you need to learn as a Teddy player, is to know what items to use, when, where, and why, right? But anyways, and use the item throw a little bit more. Let's get back in the match. Alright, so you jump back, and you're being like kind of scared, but you also are trying to space yourself out, so I kind of understand. And this is an example right here of like, yes, use the 5B right here at this range. Dan can't do shit about this, right? And I would recommend, you know, throw it if you know he's gonna block it, you can stop it right here. But if you don't know if he's gonna block it, go with the full string, 5B, B, right? And then the third B, right? So you do that. You go into the fat persona, and see, Dan didn't think you were actually going to hit that move. And I would just recommend just doing the third move into the item toss, or if you have a better combo, into something else, right? But you don't, mainly because you're probably scared that he was going to block it anyways. So now Dan's back on the offensive. You jump back because you're really scared and you don't know what he's going to do. But because he doesn't really do anything, you're using your JA to put pressure on him. Now, I'm assuming you're going to go into 5A. Yep, 5A, 5AA. And you call Ruby. Now, calling Ruby here to stagger the pressure, it's good. I don't know if that was your intention, but it was good because you get to start up your 5AA pressure again. But from here, you're going to go into 5C. Now, the problem with this is that whole time while you were trying to use your block string pressure, you should be thinking, oh, Dan's blocking a high. So if Dan's blocking high this whole entire time, you shouldn't be using 5C because that's an overhead move. He's going to block high and block it. And he's going to be able to punish this, as you see. Now, Dan was trying to do a new combo that I was trying to teach him, like a new route, which is why he didn't full combo you. So you're recovering, right? Because you're in recovering, you should not be pressing a button. You should be preparing to block or reversal. If you think Dan's going to just be aggressive and press a button again, you can reversal, right? Otherwise, if you're not safe about reversaling, you should be blocking. Now, there was a bit of a gap between what happened, so I think the idea was you were blocking, but saw that Dan wasn't doing anything, and you tried to 5A, and so Dan just jumped in and hit you from the sky. So that's unfortunate. You just got to be able to read those situations a little bit more. Alright, so then you burst, which is good, because you don't want Teddy taking too much damage. From that range, doing rifle shot is actually very dangerous, because if you had missed it, because if Dan was like a little bit higher, you would have missed it, and Dan would have just punished you for it. But at least it pushed him back enough to where he has to reapproach. Now he's running into you. He's probably going to 5A. Excuse me. Sorry. I would say if he's going to 5A, you either block, or if you're really confident in your moves, hit a move that would beat it out. But and like I said, Dan 5A, like I predicted, but you jumped. Okay. I think you're trying to cross him up, but you pressed the button way too early, so it's not gonna hit anything. Alright, so at this point, if I whiffed the move, I would have been like, fuck, and then I would have just blocked, right? But you tried to press 5B on the ground as soon as you landed on the ground, which would have taken too much time, and Dan already hit his 5A. Remember, your A moves are generally faster than B moves, right? So you're hitting your B move, and Dan's hitting his A move. His is gonna beat you out because it comes out faster. Okay. Again, Dan's trying to do some experimental shit, so he's not hitting you for full combo. Right there, I think you were blocking, but then you hit the B button, so he hit you again. But for some reason, Dan missed his combo. So this is big, right? Dan is now, you're blocking Dan's move. Now, yeah, you could reject, but if Dan didn't jump cancel, which it looks like he didn't jump cancel off of it, so he fucked up, you should have punished that full body, right? But you push block, which is fine. You just gotta be careful of your meter. You have like 2 bar, which you can't see. There you go. You have 2 bar right there. So you gotta keep in mind how much meter you have. Because if you have no bar and you're trying to push block, you're just pressing buttons, which is gonna let you get hit in the end. Anyways. So you jump up because you're trying to aggress, but Dan is also trying to aggress. So you didn't even press a button at that point. Yeah, you didn't even press a button when you were in the air, and you were just going forward. So again, if you don't have a plan of attack, then you shouldn't just do things just to do things. But Dan hit you with the 5B and it hit you down. Okay. Anyways, you guys are technically back into neutral. So Dan sees that you're coming down. He's going to go for a 5A. Right? Now, at this particular range, right? Yep, there you go. Your 5A would be able to poke him out. Because by the time his fist gets close to you but doesn't hit you, your staff is already in his face. The tip of your scythe. So that was good. Right? But now you're out of range, because you did hit him from full range. You're not going to be able to combo. That's unfortunate, but that's how it works with Ruby. So now Dan's trying to approach you for the 11,037th time from the air. What you should be doing is trying to anti-air him with either your reversal, right? But don't press it too early, just wait for him, or your 2B. Again, don't press it too early, wait for him to come in. He's trying to hit you with his JB for pressure. So you should be hitting the 2B. But instead you were running away with Gun Blast going back. And Gun Blast doesn't make you invincible, right? It just moves you backwards. It's just a dash back. It doesn't have any invulnerability as far as I know. I think it's immune to projectiles, but outside of that, it's not going to save you. His move has a lot of range. Just look at the blood that's coming out of his hand, right? That's going to hit very far range. And he's able to combo off of it. So good burst. You don't want Ruby to die. So right there you use 5B. 5B from that close up is very bad for you to do, right? Now your assist Dan's assist got hit, which is unfortunate for him. But yeah, keeping up the pressure here is a good idea, because if Dan lets go of block, he will get hit like he did right here. Maybe you should have hit your item, but you were trying to combo and it didn't work. Like Teddy's 5A does not have that much range. Again, Dan tries to approach you from the air, but what I've noticed that you've done in your matches is every time someone tries to approach you in the air, you try to air block it, where that's not the best choice. The best choice is either, again, reversal or just anti-air it with one of your moves, in your case 2B. So, and I noticed you do this a lot. Using JB, right? Using your Kintogi Dochi in the air like that leaves you so open, because it's really hard to hit it in neutral without comboing into it. And then when you miss it, you leave yourself open. You're not even able to block. right? I think you were still hitting buttons either way. Even if you were able to block, like, you were hitting buttons on your way down. And you're not going to be able to do that, right? You're only... If you hit a Kitoki Doji in the air, I don't think you can do anything else unless you jump cancel it. But regardless, you shouldn't be hitting buttons. You should be holding block. He may still have been able to hit you, though, because that move has a lot of recovery on it. It's not a good move to throw out, especially if you're up close to the opponent like that. So try making it less of a habit to use that move. So Dan's gonna combo you. He missed his combo, his full combo, and now you guys are back into neutral. I bet you $500 that Dan is going to try and jump in and dash in on you. Again, should be anti-airing or reversaling, right? He jumps back, he doesn't, so I lost $500. I guess he was trying to gauge on what the hell you were doing, and then you bear screwed. Again, bear screw is not a good approach tool unless you cover it with your assist, and that's one of your very weak points. Again, you're learning, so I'm not trying to be harsh for trying to be harsh and being an asshole. I'm just trying to assess this critically. So you're not using your assist to cover your approach, right? Which is really bad. You're still on level 1 resonance. I mean, Dan is too, but Dan's been trying to do experimental shit. So he's able to punish your bear screw, because your bear screw is very unsafe on block and on whiff. You burst, which is good. You save Teddy. He's trying to approach you for the 1107th time. Oh, well, I fucked that up. Anyways, he tried to approach you again. He's going to go for the combo starter now, not just for pressure. You should be 2B'ing him, right? Or DPing. But you block, which is fine, right? If you block, that's perfectly fine, right? Blocking is better than getting hit. Now, you push block him, which is really good, because what Dan tends to do with this character, he doesn't really have any mix-up tools with him. So what he ends up doing is trying to 5C, and you push blocked it, and that's going to take a lot of recovery. Now, this is just character matchup and not knowledge, so I wouldn't assume you have the knowledge to go and try and punish him. You could have punished him there, maybe like with a super. So now your health is getting low, and you're trying to play very defensively, but you're playing very scared. You're just constantly up backing. You're jumping back and playing very scared. But you shouldn't give him that power, because now you're going to be in the corner. You're backing yourself literally into a corner, and now you have nowhere else to run, and you panic. You panic and try to raw super, right? Panic raw super is even worse than calculated raw super, which is more so what Dan does. Panic raw super is going to cost you a lot of health and essentially the match. But luckily for you, he didn't capitalize on it. So he just whiffed his 5A because he wasn't in range. You're up backing because you're scared, but you're trying to hit him. So you're trying to play passive aggressive, but you see that's not working. You hit the button too high up, and it's not serving you any purpose. You shouldn't be constantly up backing. You're being very scared, right? And it's hard to think and try and play at the same time, so I kind of understand the sentiment, and like, it's not like you're not going to be, you know, aggressing and doing the perfect choices all the time, but this is like a hindsight is 2020 thing, and something that you should learn from, right? So now you're hitting a button. Dan wasn't anywhere near that range, so there's no reason for you to do that. Right now, again, Dan's air dashing and most likely going to do his JC on you. You should, again, either reversal or 2B. Now, unfortunately for Dan, he hit the button a little too high, and the animation is finishing, and so now he's recovering, so he misses it, essentially. So now you get a counter hit, you 2A, you go into 5A, you go back into 2A. And I think this is the match where you fucked up the command for your super, so let's see it. Yes, you fucked up the command for your super, and you end up doing a JC. Now, off of, because the combo you did before your super, you have to remember what you're pressing, Jason. You're pressing 2A, 5A, 2A, into super. I don't think that combo's either way. So Dan would have, even if you supered, he would have blocked it. You have to, sorry. you have to hit him with like a 5B or any of your B moves in order for you to combo into super, guaranteed, right? So here is very unfortunate, but Dan doesn't capitalize. He's going to jump back and dash in and try and aggress again. You're jumping in the air. He's most likely going to pre-pressing JC or JB. So you, if you want to air him, that's what we call it, meaning pressing buttons against each other in the air, most likely want to hit your JA because it comes out faster than his JB or JC. But that comes down to analyzing your opponent and knowing their patterns, which is something that we discussed yesterday. So you see this, and you should be able to hit him with a JA, or if anything, just block. But instead, neither of you really do anything, and you actually dash past him. And so now you're in a very tricky situation. I don't know what Dan is going to do. If I was Dan, I would try and grab if I think you're going to block. Otherwise, I would just press my button 5A to put pressure on you. But if it was actually me, I probably would DP. Anyways, for what you want to do, you would want to hit your 2A, since it's probably your fastest normal move, and combo from there. Which is what you do, which is really good. 2A, 5A, 5B, but then you go into jump 5 something, right? 5B probably. Yeah, jump 5B. That does not combo, right? And then you're going into corkscrew slice. So now it's very unfortunate. And again, like if you go into corkscrew slice and they block it, you remember you can still cancel into the gun blast to go backwards and keep yourself safe. But regardless, you shouldn't have jump bead into corkscrew slice off of that, right? That's something about like learning your combos, your basic combos, that you gotta still kind of remember. Alright, so you go into 2A into rifle shot. I'm not gonna really comment on that, that's fine. So now Dan is gonna try and approach you for the millionth time. Air dash forward, you know what you should be doing. But he kind of goes and crosses you up, and it doesn't even hit. So now you can punish, full punish. You go 5A, 2B, 5B. Now you're at max range. I don't even think you're going to be able to hit. But you go back into 2B. I would have just considered the 5B string, because it will knock them up anyways for you to be able to do an air combo. We're back into neutral. Dan just runs up and 5As. Now you should be, if you see him doing this, you should be, again, either blocking, or if you're gutsy, go for your reversal. But you went for your 5B well after him pressing his 5A. Remember, his 5A is going to beat your 5B. Okay. And when you see him up close like that, you shouldn't really be trying to use 5B. 5B is for when you're a little bit further out, where you know your 5A isn't going to hit. And that's where, you know, learning your character's ranges and your actual normals comes in handy, right? Alright, so you burst into Teddy, and Dan tries to raw super, right? Because I think this is the longest that you've survived against him, and Dan's getting kind of desperate. So he's like, I'm gonna go use raw super. Now you jump, you high jumped cancel, maybe by mistake, or you, not high jump cancel, but you high jumped in general, maybe by mistake, but you're able to avoid the super. What you should have done is dashed after you jumped to dash past it. Or, if you weren't confident in doing that, you should have just been holding block. But what you did was you JB'd, which I don't know why you did this. And remember, JB has a huge recovery window. You're going to have to recover from this. So most likely what's going to happen is you're gonna fall from doing the JB and get hit no matter what you're pressing, whether you're blocking or not. And you weren't even blocking anyways. Like, you only started blocking recently. Dan's gonna go into the second super. Alright, so you're recovering from him hitting you with your super. Whenever you get knocked down by your opponent and they're right next to you especially, you should not be pressing buttons on wake up. You should either reversal if you think they're gonna press buttons, or you should just block. And you are mashing 5A. right? And that's why you died. So you go into Resonance, and again, this is just like the scenario I just described. You're going to be coming out of Resonance, and Dan already has a punch out, which whiffed. So you may be able to punish him, but we're not actually sure how this is going to work. You both don't do anything as soon as that happens, and you try to grab, which is good, right? Like, grabbing after Resonance is usually a staple that everybody does. And you're able to kill his Naoto. So now you have his U right there in your face. His 5A has a lot of range. It's pretty decent in terms of quickness, but if he's going to hit that button, you have a faster button, and that's again up to matchup knowledge that you should know, like, oh, if I'm gonna fight this character, blah 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 blah. And right now I wouldn't say focus on that. I would say more so just focus on making sure you hit your what do you call it, just knowing your normal moves. But right here, Dan would probably try and aggress, and if you know Dan's gonna try and aggress, I would either reversal or maybe try and hit a 2A or just block. But you jump back. So now you got out of that range and got out of that hairy situation. You guys are back in the neutral. Dan jumped back, but knowing Dan and how unga bunga his brain is, he's going to try and dash forward. Oh, look at that. You owe me $500. So now I don't lose the $500 I lost originally. So he's going to do a move to try and come in. You should be, what? Let me hear it. Reversaling or 2Bing. But you pressed 5A, which is not going to anti-air him. Now, sadly for Dan, he missed his combo, but you get to stay alive. Now, you push blocked him, which is really good to do against that character, because that character is cheap and broken, so you should never be constantly blocking against him. You should always try and push him out. But he's gonna miss this move, and this is another opportunity where you could have like maybe supered him, like with Pedal Burst, which is the forward super or something. But you know, I know you're under pressure in this situation, so he's just going to whiff that. So now Dan is like, okay, I'm gonna throw a couple Zeos. You block it. Now he's just gonna go back on the offensive. Look, he jumped up in the air. For the billionth time, he's probably going to dash forward and try and hit you with a JA, right? With this character, because that's the character's jumping move. I would suggest either you preemptively, you know, throw out your JA so that you come out a little bit faster than him, or just block. But he actually dashes back, which is crazy. I guess he was trying to gauge what you were going to do. So you sit there, and again, now he's dashing back in, and you're blocking low, and he's about to hit you overhead, but you last minute switch to high block, which is really good. But after that, like, he still has advantage, right? Like, he hit you with the jump, you blocked his jumping move, but when he comes back on the ground, it's still like a full, like a true combo. So you just didn't block that next hit, and you tried to press buttons. And this is why he hit you, and that's the end of the match. So all in all, I would say you have to learn your buttons a little bit more. I would say don't panic and mash your buttons, because that's what I noticed you're doing. Learn your buttons for your characters. Learn anti-air, please. Like, learn your anti-airs, and learn how to anti-air and how to capitalize off of it. And then learn like some basic combos that don't require you to like input super, because you're not always gonna have your super. So you want to at least have like a normal, what we call a bread and butter combo for your characters to do in order to get some damage in, some decent damage in. So that's what I would say, right? Another tip of advice to do is, if you really want to learn and get better and be able to beat Kevin, or even take some games off Dan or myself or whatever, or Ty, whatever, I would suggest like doing what I just did. After every match, they give you the option to record it, saying like match replay by pressing triangle on the results screen, on like the victory win screen. So you, instead of just mashing and trying to get into the next match, look for that option where it says press triangle, and then press it, and then once you're done playing your matches, you can go into the replay theater and see the matches you just played and analyze it for yourself, right? And see where you have gone wrong. You can look at your inputs, see if your inputs are clean, all of that stuff. But yeah, that's all I have to say. I wish you good luck.